وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا في بث حي ومباشر عبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues.
Good morning and thank you for being with us. This is the Local Connections with Khalil Hachem, editor via Michigan.com, a digital business magazine serving the Arab American communities in Michigan. We provide business and real estate news, loan and lending information, support for small businesses, and much more. Visit us at wnzk.com. This show is co-produced by wnzk.com and US Arab Radio. We salute the founder of US Arab Radio, Layla Al-Husni, for providing this great radio show, a great radio program rather, which is one of the largest and most important ethnic radio in North America. Once again, thank you for being with us. Today is April 15th, 2022. Can you believe it? It's mid-month. I can't believe the month has gone by, almost. It's a Friday. It's a Good Friday. Happy holidays to everyone. For those of us who are fasting, happy and safe fast. The number here is 248-557-3300. Give us a call should you have a question or a comment in Arabic or in English. It's a bit cold today. It's sunny in the morning. We're going to get some rain later on, but we're not complaining. At least we're not shoveling snow. So thank God that the weather is getting better. We have a great program for you today. Inflation is the word today that we hear it every day on the news, everywhere. If we go to the store, to the gas station, somebody was telling me the other day that even funeral services are expensive now. So what is going on? With us this morning is Dr. Vivek Singh. He's a professor of accounting and finance at the University of Michigan. Also with us is Jackie Lovejoy, is the president of the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce. We're going to be talking to both of them to help us understand what inflation is and how it is affecting small businesses and the community. Dr. Singh, good morning, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Yes, you're great. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Ms. Lovejoy, good morning as well, and it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
My pleasure. Happy to be in touch.
Absolutely. Dr. Singh, what is inflation? For the average person who does not understand what's going on and is suffering when they go to the grocery store.
So Khalil, the idea of inflation is very straightforward. It's simply paying a lot more what you paid last time when you visited a store if you were buying food, or if you're paying rent, or if you're buying, say, gasoline. So the idea of inflation is simply like how the prices, they increase over a period of time. The standard basket of goods and services that you typically consume, like if they were costing me, say, $10 last month, and if they cost me, say, $11 this time, so there is an inflation of, say, 10% approximately.
Absolutely. What causes inflation?
That's a difficult question to answer, but like there are a number of theories behind it. But at the very simplest level, you can break it down to a mismatch between the demand and supply. So if the supply of the things are restricted for whatever reason, say currently we are going through this pandemic for some period of time, we all understand that companies have difficulty finding workers or difficulty finding even inputs to manufacture goods. So you can't produce enough of your goods. And we all live in Detroit, so we all understand that how difficult it's to buy cars these days because they can't get enough semiconductor components. So as a result of that, supply is restricted. If the demand is the same, then the price has to go up. So that is one reason why if the supply, and on the other hand, another reason could be even if the supply is the same, if you start putting more money in the hands of consumers, as happened in the last 2 years, like
Sure,
when
sure.
everybody got like, not everybody, but a lot of people got like a lot of big stimulus checks in their bank account. So when you have a lot of money chasing the same number of goods, that's another reason. So it could be either driven from the demand side, like when people have like a lot more money to spend, and or it could happen because the supply is restricted as currently is.
So basically, our attitude also could contribute to it, if we're consuming more.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, what can be done about it? At what level should be tackled? And they're saying that this is a 40-year record.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty bad.
It is, Khalil. Like, I mean, it's very worrying, actually. We haven't seen these kinds of numbers since early 80s. In fact, like, while doing some research for today's show, I went back and I did some research, and I found articles like going back just 2019, just before we were hit by this pandemic. People were worried about very low inflation in America, that what's going on? Like, we are not having enough inflation, actually. Then inflation is a problem, but lack of inflation is also a bigger problem, actually, for central bankers. So now, I think a number of things could be done. I mean, obviously, as I said, if the reason for inflation is on the demand side, that you're putting a lot of money in the hands of the people, so obviously we can do the reverse, like a little bit of fiscal tightening, which is already in place, will help us reduce this demand. And I believe that all those stimulus checks that we got, they have run their course. So people have pretty much spent, or they're very close to spent, all the savings that they had. So that kind of push, like which was coming from the demand side, will eventually go. Secondly, I still believe that there is some lingering sort of effect of this COVID-19. So which is like holding back some people, not because they had money, but it's just that they're scared of showing up at work for whatever reasons. Like they are scared for their own health or for the health of their people at home. So once like these effects, they go away, I mean, as things are getting better by each passing day, so people will show up for work. So companies which are finding it hard to find workers, and they're paying like a lot more wages, so even that little bit of the pressure will go away, so that will help. And thirdly, I think what we have been seeing is the central banks, especially the Federal Reserve Bank, has taken up this issue very seriously, rather belatedly, in my opinion. Like they should have acted much earlier, but better late than never. So they have raised the short-term interest rates. They have started reducing all the money they were spending on buying these long-term bonds. So a combination of raising the interest rates and buying lesser of these short-term bonds, or in fact, like reversing the whole process by selling these bonds rather than buying the bonds, and this physical tightening, which the federal government is currently doing, like automatically. I mean, they are not able to spend any money because the Congress is not letting them spend any money, actually. So that all would help.
Yeah. So when we say that they're raising interest rates, so they're trying to discourage people from spending, is that what it is?
Absolutely. So Khalil, that's the basic idea. I mean, we have seen that our housing market, like we've all seen that in the last 2 years, and is a very good example, like how the interest rates have like boosted that market. Of course, it's not simply that interest rates, but the interest rates were almost historically low, like before the pandemic hit, or even during the time of pandemic. So that again led to this excess demand of the housing.
Sure.
And housing is something which like feeds into the rental market, like with a delay. If the house prices typically go up, like eventually the landlords start asking for more rent. So if people are discouraged from buying the homes because it's going to cost, say, 5% interest rate rather than, say, 2.5% or 3% that they were paying, I mean, the housing market is going to cool down a bit, and that would help. So similarly, like the interest rates, they affect not only the housing, it's going to affect the automobile, and even for businesses, like it's going to cost a lot more to service their loans. So everything gets affected.
Absolutely. Jackie, what are you hearing from your members and small businesses?
Well, the cost of goods are going up. And of course, this is the time everyone's children or dogs would like to chime in because I'm speaking to somebody other than them. So good morning. That's who you hear in the background, perhaps.
Sure.
The cost of goods is going up and they're hesitant to pass that on to the customer after everything we've been through in the last 24 months. We're trying to get back to where we were. On the other hand, that really lowers the profit margin. I had a real estate agent yesterday say to me, you're right, mortgage rates may go up to 4%, 5%, but if inflation is still at 8%, it's better to invest than lose 8% sitting on your money in the bank. So it's a good time to buy. There's a lot of inventory. There's 20% more inventory in the last 24 months than there's been in the last 74 years. The difference is those houses are selling in 1 to 2 days with 10 to 30 offers. And that's something we have not seen because we've had a lifestyle shift. It's kind of lovely to stay home and people are thinking about how do I either improve my space or do I move to another space because so many different roles have become remote roles.
That's
a lot of employers.
I'd like to also mention that our broker of the signature group Realty, Tamara Fiema, will join us later on to talk specifically about real estate and how the real estate market is and evaluate that. Now, Dr. Singh, it's very expensive to get loans, getting more expensive to get loans, and we want to help small businesses. Wouldn't that put more pressure on them? And they suffered during the pandemic.
Khalil, that's absolutely. Anytime the cost of doing business goes up, it's going to affect businesses, small or big, especially smaller businesses, which depend a lot more on the local financing than the bigger companies, which can always tap the Wall Street. So I don't totally agree that the cost of doing business, like not just the cost of goods sold, but cost of doing business, which includes even the financing costs, is going to have negative implication for local businesses.
Absolutely. Jackie, small businesses can absorb so much because they're not really big companies. What can they do? Do you have any programs to help them out? What's going on there?
That would be more through the SBA or any kind of relief. If they received an SBA loan or a FEMA loan from last year's flooding, things like that. I know a lot of people maybe received those funds and are sitting on them to see how inflation goes the rest of this year. We're hosting the Taste of Dearborn because really, even though inflation is rising, my job is to bring customers to my clients' doors. So the Taste of Dearborn is a great example. If you want to save money, and I think gas prices have been falling. I think Dr. Singh can speak to that the last 3 weeks. But walk to your local downtown, shop your local farmers markets, patronize your local businesses because everyone's feeling the pinch. And do we know we could be at the peak right now? I've heard analysts and economists say, I've heard some people say we could be maybe approaching the peak. And Dr. Singh can speak to this more than I can. I have not heard to expect this to be a year-long struggle. So for consumers, buy local, shop local, walk where you can. For our business owners, the SBA is still, and it's an incredible rate, 1 to 2%. Apply for a small business loan for supply chain. There's banks out there that will issue loans against open purchase orders. So if you're a builder or a baker and you need supplies and your wedding season is coming up and you need this much, apply for that because you have so many orders in the hopper and you need money to buy your supplies. So there's a lot of different options to do that. It takes time to explore. So that's where we come in. We try and help them point people in the right direction. And over the last 24 months, we're hoping everybody established some sort of great relationship with whomever they are banking. With their, we all should know who we do business with, our bankers.
Absolutely. Dr. Singh, are we approaching the tip of this or not yet?
Khalil, I think in my opinion, we are very close to the historic highs. And I expect the action of the Federal Reserve Bank along with the fiscal tightening, I think is going to definitely help. But I still believe that I think the things could still go badly, like depending upon like how this COVID situation unfolds. I mean, it's a still big unknown. China, in particular, is a very worrying picture because much of the country is still not vaccinated, and eventually, like they have to let people start go out, and once that happens, we don't know like how many people are going to get affected. And China is a big market, like to manufacture pretty much everything. So that's a big supply bottleneck which might just show up like out of nowhere. But assuming that nothing such happens, I imagine that by middle of next year, I think that things would come down, and all these headline numbers, I think they're going to decline. But I think we'll continue to see these kind of numbers for some time to come. So my expectation is like by the middle of next year, my median sort of forecast is like we should be having numbers close to like say 4.5% to 5% kind of inflation rather than 8.5% that we are currently observing.
Okay. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned and we'll continue this discussion.
Comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan fertility centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
Imagine you're on a train track. Somewhere miles away, a train is headed your way. You can't see it yet, but it's coming. Slowly but surely. If you have prediabetes or you're at risk for type 2 diabetes, you may be on the wrong track, and diabetes could be heading your way. Bit by bit, the danger is getting closer and closer. So should you stay on the track you're on now or move to make a change and reduce your risk? If you have prediabetes or you're at risk for type 2 diabetes, you may qualify for the National Diabetes Prevention Program in your local community. This one-year program could be the ongoing support you need to put you on the right track. Not only did participants lose weight, they cut their risk of type 2 diabetes in half. Ready to get on board for a healthier future? Learn more about the National Diabetes Prevention Program and what else you can do to manage and prevent diabetes at michigan.gov/diabetes. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, and seafood dinners. Plus, they offer big trays of your favorite food and so much more. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab is located at 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills and is open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So stop in or call Kashat's today at 248-538-9552. That number again, 248-538-9552. Kashat's Mediterranean Market in Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. We're talking to Dr. Singh and to Jackie Lovejoy from the Chamber of Commerce about inflation. Dr. Singh, is the war and how it goes between Russia and Ukraine, could this prolong the inflation, or could could really, how badly could it affect it?
Khalil, definitely. I mean, this is not really helping for sure. But fortunately, like we, America in particular, like we don't import much from Russia. So that helps a little bit. But at the same time, if Russia is not able to sell as much because they're not able to produce as much because they're just so preoccupied with this Ukraine war, so the price of oil is worked out in the world market. So the price of oil is going to stay up, and that's going to hurt all consumers, like in America too. And secondly, like they also produce a lot of food grains, like for example, wheat in particular, and they also produce a lot of metals, like in combination of Ukraine and Russia, like things like nickel and all that. So all these things are going to stay up, and all these will feed into the whole the inflation for everything that we consume in America too. But fortunately, my belief is, I think all the research has shown that the times have changed. So the way, like in 70s, the prices, how if the price of oil were to go through roof, it was a bad outcome for all the consumer. But things are not that bad these days, especially in America, because we don't import as much anymore as we did in the past.
Jackie, in regard to shopping local, it seems to me this would be an important time for us to put more emphasis on that. Could you share with us the benefits of doing that and how we're helping small businesses?
Well, small and big businesses that are local employ our neighbors, employ our friends, our family members, our parents. So that's the first step. Let's keep our local economy going and local paychecks in the hopper. Let's do that. I believe, and I didn't come with my postcard of statistics that I usually have, but I think if you shop local, 83 cents of every dollar spent stays in this local community. And that makes a big difference. That helps infrastructure, that's tax, that's things that keep our streets beautiful, it makes placemaking, and it makes your area, your downtown, your neck of the woods, a place where people want to go. Because when you shop, when you shop local, when you attract people want to go where it's fun, exciting, regardless of your income level. You can have a cup of coffee in an outdoor park with a beautiful mural and enjoy it, or you can shoot the moon, go shopping at the local department store, the local clothier, the tailor, those sorts of things. There's something for everybody, but to stay in your neck of the woods and really bolster your local eateries. And I think we all know Dearborn. I know for Taste of Dearborn, I usually have 25 to 30 restaurants on our tour, and people are amazed that we have French, Italian, Mexican, Thai, burgers, all sorts of things, along with Middle Eastern and a variety of Middle Eastern.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before, and that's, even if we pay a little bit more, those dollars can make a huge difference. And after all, these local businesses are our friends, our relatives, our neighbors. So this is something very important. And while final thoughts, Jackie, and what's your recommendations?
This is kind of timely final thoughts. I think they're ongoing thoughts. This is what we lived through the last 24 months. We did a campaign, dine in or carry out in Dearborn and the Heights. Same premise, eat local, shop local, do these things. We maybe couldn't go into those restaurants during the pandemic. This is the same mentality. We have to remember, we all have to eat. Some of us can't cook. Sure. Treat yourself at least to an appetizer and support your local businesses. So I think it's a continuation as we go through this. And I think Dr. Singh can speak to the ebb and flow of prosperity and travel and things like that.
Thank you. Dr. Singh, final thoughts?
Khalil, I remain cautiously optimistic as far as the inflation goes. So I hope, I believe strongly that the inflation is going to subside in a matter of few months. But especially latest by middle of next year. But my caution is that in the process of like trying to tame inflation, we might not step into recession, which often happens. So I'm worried about that aspect down the road. Like, okay, we take care of the inflation because the economy is very, very overheated, but we should not create another problem down the road which has often happened, that central bank tries to tighten too much, so they take care of the inflation, but like the economy goes into recession. So I'm worried about that issue, actually.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so much for being with us this morning, for taking the time on this holiday to be with us and share your wisdom. In the second half, we're going to be talking to Tamara Fiema about the real estate market. You're welcome to stick around and listen if you like to. But at the same time, I want to thank you for being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back talking about real estate. Please stay tuned.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Get ready for an amazing experience at Ishtar Restaurant on 15 Mile Road in Sterling Heights. Enjoy excellent hospitality from owners Ali Al-Baghdadi and Fatty Bonham, serving the best in Mediterranean food. Try Chef Ali Al-Baghdadi's famous shawarma, the best Iraqi grills and food, and the best Arabic and international dishes. Dine in our authentic atmosphere or take out. Call 586-698-2585 or check us out on Facebook. Ishtar Restaurant practices all CDC guidelines and is open every day 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Have an amazing experience today at Ishtar Restaurant, 3625 15 Mile Road, Sterling Heights. Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. Enjoy the first Syrian-style cuisine in Michigan. At Damas Cuisine and Catering, you'll find a wide selection of Syrian foods and sweets in our menu, like frikeh, poisi, grape leaves with steak, mashawi platter, hot mahashi, char-grilled kebab, shawarma, and much more. Get super fast delivery from Damas Cuisine and Catering right to your door. Order online at damascuisine.com/menu and track your order live. Damas Cuisine and Catering, 28841 Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Call 248-987-4985.
Are your hands feeling numb? Do you feel pain opening up a jar, turning a key? Are you noticing that your elbow and your shoulder are becoming stiff? Or were you recently injured in your arm? Hello, I'm Dr. Al-Majid Katranji, and at the Katranji Hand Center, which just recently opened down the street from the Somerset Mall, we can provide you with the latest in hand, wrist, elbow, and shoulder care. Visit us at www.katranjihandcenter.com to learn the latest techniques that we have to offer you, and I look forward to taking care of you.
Visit us in Troy at 1565 West Big Beaver Road, Building F, or call Katranji Hand Center for an appointment at 248-869-4263. That's 248-869-4263.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem with the Michigan.com and US Arab Radio. We're going to continue. We've been talking about inflation and how it has affected us. And one of the area and segment that's been in the news recently is the housing market, which has been very hot, blistering actually. Just demand is incredible. And now with inflation, as Dr. Singh mentioned earlier, as the government raises interest rates, this affects loans. And with us this morning is Tamara Fiema. She's the broker at the Signature Group Realty. And for disclosure, in addition to journalism, I work as a real estate agent, and I work at the Signature Group Realty. I'm honored to be there, and I'm honored that she's joining us as well. Good morning, Ms. Fiema.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
So far.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, tell us a little bit about you first, a little bit about the Signature Group, and then we delve into the issue of how the housing market is.
Sure. I have been a broker. Well, I've been in real estate for almost 20 years and became a broker 8 years ago. We formed the Signature Group Realty. We have had amazing success from the start. Thank God. We are now at about 50 agents. And you, of course, are one of the agents that, makes us shine. We are enjoying, we'll use the word enjoying, this incredible real estate market. We're in the midst of really the hottest real estate market that I've ever seen. I think that's probably ever existed, but definitely in the 20 years that I have been in real estate, this is definitely the hottest market. It's ever changing, which, is obviously a great reason to talk about, what's happening today, because over the past probably really 4 or 5 years, things have just been kind of like a roller coaster. And it's always good to stay on top of the trends that are going on in the market, so that if you are thinking about participating in, what's going on, that you know how to navigate through the process.
So why is this the one of the hottest real estate markets in the history, in recent history of it?
So there's a lot of factors. I think most of it, if you really look at what the experts are saying, relates back to obviously the crash that we had that started in 2007, 8, 9, and really carried through for several years, much longer really than anyone anticipated. So during that time, a lot of things happened. Obviously, lending at one point came to a complete halt. So the average consumer wasn't able to buy. We had, issues with enormous amounts of foreclosures, which created an investor market. But the average consumer was not buying at that time because there wasn't any lending. Builders stopped building because of that fact. People couldn't get financing. So we've had, for many years, I'm going to say probably 10 years, a lack of new construction starts, which affects the real estate market and the inventory enormously. So now we are in a situation where we have recovered from that, but the demand is just so great because of the fact that there was a pause for such a long amount of time on all levels. And then we ended up in this basically this scenario where for a while we were in what I would call the perfect storm of real estate, because we had an incredibly healthy seller's market because of the demand. And then on the buyer side, we had these incredibly historically low interest rates, which created and vitalized the real estate market. So that was a wonderful thing, but it created an even worse scenario when it comes to lack of inventory. So I know your segment is right on point with what we were talking about in terms of the interest rates being probably a rise in interest rates, probably being a good thing to kind of slow this all down, because it's just gotten to the point where, the values and the sales prices just keep going up and up and up because people are able to spend more because of the low interest rates. So again, by adjusting the interest rates, hopefully, even though it doesn't sound like a good thing, it'll slow that down a little bit. And I think that it's definitely for that.
So even though interest rates may go up, it seems that demand will continue to be there, and it's going to drive prices up. Maybe not as much, but prices are going to continue to go up. Is that correct?
Still in a very healthy market. I expect us to stay in this healthy market, honestly, for years. I know that people tend to want to say, oh, it's going to crash because of what's going on. But again, that's why I took you all the way back to 2007, where this all started because of the pause that took place. And if it had been just a year or so, similar to maybe what we just witnessed with COVID, it probably wouldn't have affected us so strongly. But because it was really, truly a 10-year stretch where this pause was on the home ownership side, not the investor side, took place, it just created this huge demand. And now it's like a frenzy for people to get home. So they're still going to buy, and values are still going to be up, but it will probably curtail slightly how much people are going to maybe want to offer over asking price. And we're seeing these multiple offer situations. I mean, when interest rates are 2%, you can afford to say, you know, I'll spend $50,000 more. It almost doesn't even affect your payment. Now at 5%, because we are into the fives now, it may make somebody think twice, or even just from an eligibility standpoint, they may not be able to spend that much money because they wouldn't be able to qualify for that payment.
But normally, I mean, in normal days, 5% is the average of the loan market. I mean, even if the interest rates goes up, we're still going up to what was average before, which is really shouldn't discourage a lot of people from buying. I mean, this is the time where the few times, as you well know, we can say it's a good time to sell, it's a good time to buy, which is, we've never really been able to do that before. Is that correct?
100%. I mean, I told you I started in this industry 20 years ago. And when I started, it was also a very, very healthy real estate market. It wasn't as much demand, but people were in multiple offer situations, and it was a very healthy market. At that point, if I go back, I want to say we were at 8 or 9%, maybe some people even a little bit higher. So we're still historically low, and it doesn't, that's why we're, as much as people, again, want to forecast that they think that the market's going to make a shift, it's affordable, and the inventory is starting to come back, and we're starting to see we're headed into the spring market here. So I predict that we will continue to see values increase. So it is still a great real estate market, and it's going to be like this for several years.
What's your advice to sellers?
Well, I think because the fact that interest rates do affect the buying power of the purchaser, if they're thinking about selling, they should probably go ahead and make that move, especially with the current circumstances of the low inventory. They're still at an advantage. And I would just say that what buyers are looking for right now are the homes that are updated because they're paying more. They expect a home that is in good condition, well maintained. So if you are thinking about selling, you want to make sure that you put a proper plan together, obviously working with the right team of realtors and professionals. They can advise you on what is worth doing, what's not worth doing, and obviously work to get you the best net profit when you're selling.
Absolutely. And what's your advice to buyers in this really tough market?
Make sure, and this is going to sound very prompted, but your realtor is going to be the key to whether you're getting an offer accepted or not. We spend, and Khalil can attest to this, we spend almost every single day strategizing and making sure that we're understanding what's working in this market and what's not working. And I think that, a lot of realtors tend to just keep doing things the old-fashioned way because that's what they know, and they don't necessarily grasp change. In this market, you have to be extremely nimble, and you have to be extremely savvy with what is going to make it happen for your buyer. And I do believe that trust is an important part of this process because sometimes your realtor is going to give you some advice that may sound a little crazy, right? But in this market, we have to be very creative, and we have to do some things that of course, nothing that we're not supposed to be doing, but some things that might be different than what another realtor or another person may have told you to do, but that's what makes the difference. So I feel like, sometimes buyers right now, they're in this position where they're having to, practically give up everything in order to get a home. We try to ease that pain a little bit, but unfortunately in this market, you've got to be nimble. You've got to have a great professional on your side. And if you do, I want to encourage you that it is possible. We have huge success for our clients, and we have been able to really successfully navigate through this whole process of multiple offers and being able to get people into homes. So it's not impossible. It is not maybe the easiest process as it was previously, but if you're working with the right people, and I would just say another thing is don't try to do it on your own, because if you do it on your own, you're at a huge disadvantage. I mean, you've got to be right on top of things.
One of the things now is the buyer burnout. Some buyers put on offers and they're not being successful because just the way the market is, depending on what area they're going in. What's your advice for buyers who have gone through this a few times and kind of getting a little bit discouraged?
Well, I will be honest. If it's been an extremely long amount of time, like I had a conversation, it was actually a family member who's in Texas, and they have been looking for over a year. And the entire country is seeing the same type of real estate market right now. So, I had some conversation with him, about an hour-long conversation. He says, I'm working with the best realtor. He's the number one agent. Because I said to him the same things that we just talked about. And I said, well, let's go through the process. Let's go through the things that you're doing. Number one, are you looking at all the houses that are in the market in the area that you're looking? So buyers tend to sometimes sabotage themselves. So I would just say, don't get burnt out. You may have to change your strategy. And then if you're not seeing success within, I would say, honestly, a 90-day period, you may have a few offers, but I mean, honestly, after watching what's been going on in this past year and what happens in our brokerage and the level at which we're getting offers accepted, I don't think it should take more than a couple of months to locate a property. And it can happen a lot faster than that. If you're beyond that and you're starting to feel discouraged, there's got to be something that's not happening. And I think it's time to seek some additional advice and probably pick apart step by step where it is that we could improve to get you a better result.
Absolutely. Jackie and Dr. Singh, do you have any questions for Ms. Fiema? Okay.
You covered all the bases. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ms. Fiema, any final thoughts?
No, like I said, just don't give up on the seller side. It's an amazing time. On the buy side, it's time to take advantage of where we are at today, because it is ever changing. And I think as we head into this spring market, it's very exciting time. So if you're thinking about doing it, this is the time for buyer and seller.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate you taking the time. I know how busy you are, and This is great information at a really needed time in this very hot market.
There's one thing we didn't mention, and I'll just take one more second, is the commercial market is also, and I'm reminded by that because Khalil, that is one of his, niches is working in commercial. We're starting to see the same thing happen on the commercial sector. So also, we were talking about small businesses. This is another topic that we should definitely talk more about.
Absolutely. We've had some areas in the commercial section where it has been kind of cold a little bit. That's the retail and and offices. But some cities are trying to repurpose some of these areas, and the demand for warehouses is really heating up really well in this area. And what we'll do maybe in the future, just do a segment talking about commercial real estate as well. So we can address that. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gonna take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
بعد تطعيم أكثر من 3 بلايين شخص حول العالم بشكل كامل بلقاح كوفيد-19 تمت الآن الموافقة على تلقيح الأطفال من عمر 5 إلى 11 سنة. فقد أثبتت الدراسات بعد تجارب سريرية مع أطفال حول العالم أن جرعتي اللقاح المخصصة لهم آمنة وفعالة. يوصي الأطباء بتلقيح الأطفال من سن 5 فما فوق من أجل حماية الأصحاء منهم أو ذوي الظروف الصحية الصعبة. الطفل جزء من المجتمع وهو معرض لأن يصاب بالفيروس، ويمكن أن يحمله لعائلته ولمن حوله. احمي طفلك وعائلتك ومجتمعك. لقح طفلك ليكون بأمان في المدرسة أو مع العائلة والأصدقاء وأثناء ممارسة الرياضة. تحدث لطبيبك واكتشف الحقائق بنفسك، أو زر موقع michigan.gov/kidscovidvaccine. رسالة من وزارة الصحة والخدمات الإنسانية في ميشيغان.
يلا سوا يا حبي نسهر عند شام آيس كريم، يا ماما يسلم لي أكله أطيب من اللوز والتين، ياسمين الشام على خدك وحلاوة العسل بأكلك، اسم الله قمر يا قمر يا منور، شرفونا تعول عنا تعول عنا.
28857 Orchard Lake مدينة فارمينغتون هيلز، أو اتصلوا على 248-516-3130.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796.
At Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic in Dearborn, we provide effective physical therapy sessions in order to limit pain and discomfort. Top Rehab provides physical therapy care for any diagnosis prescribed by a physician, and we regularly see and treat conditions such as stroke, TMJ, fibromyalgia, sciatica, joint pain, and more. We use a variety of pain management methods, including modalities, soft tissue mobilization, and therapeutic exercise. If you're in need of physical rehabilitation or physical therapy, get the highest quality health care at Top Rehab. Most insurance is accepted, and we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday 8 to 6, Tuesday and Thursday 8 to 5, and Saturday 10 till 2. Call for an appointment today at 313-846-0555. That's 313-846-0555. Choose Top Rehab Physical Therapy Clinic on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Life's too short to be in pain.
That is really true. Life is too short to be in pain. And, we hope that we provided you with some information today to ease your financial pain. And I also want to share with you, I did a little bit of research just so I could share it with you, ways to save money. And number one is set a budget. You cannot just be, going, and I've done that. And in the past where just make money, spend, don't know what's going on. It doesn't work out that way. If you really want to save money, you have to make a budget. You have to take a look at your spending every month. What am I spending on? Are they necessary? How can I save? Today with technology, there are a lot of apps that would help you to create a budget, analyze it, do all of that work for you. You'll be amazed once you plan how much money you save. Try to lower your bills. Take a look at your electric bills. Take a look at your telephone bills. Take a look at all of the other bills that you have. There are ways where you can save. If you save $10, $15 a month, these things add on over time. And if you take a look at all your bills, like for example, insurance, car insurance, home insurance, every year I shop around. I take a look at what I have. If I find better rates with the same level of service and coverage, I go ahead and go for it because you save a few $100s here, a few $100s there. Like they say in Congress, $1 million here, $1 million there, then you're talking about a lot of money. In our case, $100 here, $100 there, it's, adds up to a lot of money. And, internet, same thing. Take a look at your internet. What's your usage? Are you really paying too much for it? Mortgage payment. I helped someone the other day by simple phone call. We dropped their PMI. PMI is private mortgage insurance. It's $120 a month. Doesn't do anything for you. Okay. It only protects the bank. So take a look at that and see, well, maybe, it's time for me to drop that. Maybe I can refinance. And here's a quick thing about refinancing. There's got to be a reason why you refinance. It's not just about the rate. It has to address a certain issue, either drop PMI or lower your payment or try to reorganize. These high interest credit cards and all of that, if you can put them all in one payment without increasing your monthly payment and without paying a lot of money for refinancing for closing costs. If that works for you, that may be a good way to do it. And, other issues is, or other recommendations here is that set up a retirement fund. A lot of us go through life, spend a lot of money and don't do that. Even specifically those who are 1099, those who, work like I do, we're basically in small businesses where we work independently. We don't work for a company that provides us 401k and retirement plans. And then when it's time for retirement, what do? And then we're surprised. We're not going to get a lot from Social Security. Okay, now what do? If we didn't have any investments, putting together a retirement plan is a really good thing to do. If you need help, give me a call, 313-819-0101. I have some really good people that I've been talking to recently that will help you with a good retirement plan. Switch credit cards. I used to do that, when I was a student, and every couple of years I would switch from one credit card to the other credit card. They may give you 9 months free interest, lower interest. That's going to save you money in the long term. Sometimes if you automate your accounts and make payments on time, like first of the month, automatic payments, you can save some money. There are programs like that. Cancel and use subscriptions. This has saved me over $150 a month, believe it or not. I had all these different sorry, it's the morning, I can't even say it. Anyway, magazines, programs, different subscriptions, and I didn't use them. It was coming out of my account every month, okay? Get into meal preparation. Think about what you're buying, what you're putting in your fridge, and how much food are you throwing out, okay? That little planning can save you $50 to $75 maybe a week. Don't go to the store every week. Try to go twice a month. If you can do it once a month, it's good, but to do fresh food, you have to do it twice a month. This is something very important. Do it at least twice a month and put a shopping list together. Stick to that shopping list And don't be tempted by those last items they put right next to the register, because when you start looking and then you start grabbing one here and one there, before you know it, your bill is going to shoot up, tremendously. These are little things, little adjustments you can do to really save money. Try to go to some of the big stores like Costco, these big stores that can save you money. Bulk buying on certain items that you don't throw away, can save you money in the long term. This is something very important. So I just wanted to share that with you, just to kind of dovetail on our discussion here that we've started early. And again, I want to thank our guests. I want to thank Dr. Singh. I want to thank Jackie Lovejoy of the Chamber of Commerce, being gracious to be with us and then to share information and to help us understand inflation and what's really going on. And before we end the program, as I always do, I just want to let you know that I do work in real estate, and it is a hot market. And if you're selling or buying, we'll be more than happy to work with you. My number is 313-819-0101. I currently have a couple homes on the market. More homes will be on the market. I have several commercial listings. These are, high-end listings, meaning that they're business and real estate. We have a cement plant for sale. It's very successful. We also have a steel shop, frame shop. This is the shop that makes steel for construction. Is for sale. And then among other products that we're providing and other listings that we're providing. Again, this is the best time to sell. And you may be wondering, okay, what is the value of my property? This is why give us a call, 313-819-0101. Again, 313-819-0101. Once again, I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for putting up with us for the past hour. We wish you a happy holiday weekend and happy weekend. Again, thanks to Ms. Fiema, Tamara Fiema of the Solution Group Realty, Dr. Singh from University of Michigan, and thank you to Jackie for being with us as always. Every time I call on Jackie, she's always eager to share information, and what you do for small businesses is really incredible. And we want to thank you so much for all you do. Thank you again, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye now.